So these are the assembly instructions for my lidded box with drawer. So I'm beginning with the 2 panels that look like this, and these will be the walls and the bottom of my box. So I'm just folding down on all the score lines, and then I'm putting glue on that side tab. I'm just gluing the cut edge of my smaller panel right to the score line of my tab. I'm just going to glue down some of the decorative panels. I've got panels that fit on these 2 pieces, but I'm not going to glue them down yet. So I'm just gluing down on either side. And then I have 2 panels that are the same size, but one of them has a hole in the center. That one I'm putting aside for later, and I'm going to glue down the remaining one. So I'm just going to glue them down pretty much as you see here, trying to keep an even border all the way around my panels. So next I'm going to assemble my drawer piece. So it's the one that has 2 little slits in it and a little hole on the front panel. So I'm just folding down on all the score lines. I'm looking at the outside of my drawer piece, and I have a decorative panel that goes on the panel that has a little hole in it. I'm putting glue all over my decorative panel. I'm just making sure that those holes match up and that the border around is nice and even. So next I'm putting glue on those corner tabs. I'm tucking them under the flaps, folding my sides so that the cut edge of one side is against the score line of my tab. I'm just working my way around, doing that for all 4 tabs. So next I have the 4 flaps on the top of my box. So I'm just putting glue all over those panels and then folding them into the box just to reinforce the walls of my drawer. So I'm doing that with all 4 of them. So then I have this very thin strip, and I have the decorative panel that has the 2 slits. I'm threading my thin strip through the decorative panel. I want approximately the same amount on both sides. So I'm folding my pieces over so that it's not too tight and it still slides quite nicely. And then I'm threading both of them through the holes at the bottom of my drawer. So my piece is through my bottom layer and my drawer, and I'm putting glue on one end of my thin strip and gluing the other end over like so. And then I have a decorative piece. I'm just putting glue on the underside of it. And this is foil poster board. I'm just gluing it inside. So next I'm taking my main box piece. This panel here is the bottom of my box. So now I'm going to install my drawer to my drawer unit. I've got this piece of craft board. This is just add sturdiness and elevate my drawer a little bit so that it glides a little easier. So I'm just gluing this piece down, and I'm putting glue all over the surface of it. I'm going to take my drawer piece. I'm going to slide out my drawer, and I'm positioning this piece so that it's right on top of my piece of craft board, edge to edge. So now this is the divider between my drawer and the top of my box. I've folded down on the 3 sides, like so, and then the little tab at the front gets folded upwards. I'm putting glue all along the back panel. I'm positioning my piece. It's glued in right above that score line, and it's even on both sides. The score lines on each side should extend onto the score lines that are on the base panel. So next I'm putting glue on both of those side panels. I'm folding them up, and I'm folding each side up. I want the bottom of those panels to be right along the score line at the bottom. So right there. So I'm just gluing each side right along the score line at the bottom. So the bottom of this panel is right along the score line of my tab at the bottom. And then I'm just going in and spreading that glue. So now that I've glued this piece in place, I'm going to glue it at the front as well. So I've got that side tab from the perimeter of my box, and then I have that tab that was at the top of the partition piece. I'm putting glue along both tabs, and I'm gluing that front panel in place. The cut edge of the bottom is right along the score line of my tab. So now that that piece is glued in, I'm flipping my piece over. So I'm just putting glue all over those 2 tabs and then just gluing them in. So before I misplace it, I have this little silver brad that I'm going to use as a pull for my little drawer. So I'm just putting my Cricut tool as a spacer, and then I'm folding back the stem of my brad like so. I'm putting red line tape on the underside of a small scrap of cardstock, and I'm just going in there and adhering it to the underside of my brad. So I'm applying a lot of pressure, making sure that that red line tape takes. So next I have the lid pieces for my box. So I have one piece with a decorative side, and then I'm folding back and forth on that score line. I'm putting glue all over my rectangular panel. I'm looking at the back of my drawer unit and I'm just adhering it right to the back. And then I'm going in and spreading the glue as best I can. So next I have an extra layer of that purple cardstock just to make my lid a little bit heavier. I'm just going to put glue on the underside of it and then glue it to the top of my box. So it should stick out about 1/16 of an inch at the back. Then I have another piece of that silver foil poster board and I'm just centering it as best I can on top of my lid. And then I'm going in and spreading that glue. And then I have the pieces for the bottom. So for the bottom, I want to actually be able to see that silver piece sticking out just a little bit. Gluing my poster board down to my base piece. So next I'm putting glue on the bottom of my box. I'm looking at the back of both pieces. My box is centered vertically on my bottom panel and just at the edge of that decorative panel. So now I have that final panel to adhere to the back of the box.